So this Melda Production mxxx is a really powerful instrument for creating stacks of sounds. So if you can think about something like having a synthesizer workstation, that's wonderful and that's cool and that's got tons of bells and whistles. But with something like the mxxx, you can stack workstation-like sounds within another system so that there's like a system on top of your instruments. Anyways, here's an example of like a stack of like keys. So this is an example of the power of this, which I made this really quickly. This is like a classic sort of 80s style, arrangement. But I wanted to see like what I could do with this quickly. And what's cool about this is they have a ratio controller. So I have one sound that's always going to sound, which is the power synth here. But the other ones I can change the ratio so that I can have either more piano or more pad. So here's an example. So there's less pad in that one. And in this one, there's the power synth and the pad. It's kind of hard to hear the power synth, but it's there. And if I mute that, that's what the power synth sounds like without the pad. So as an example, like you can easily get several different very interesting sounds from this. So I have the power synth without the pad, then I have the power synth with the pad, and then I have the combo when I blend them in. And then I can dial it back if I want to diminish the bells or if I want to increase the bells. So that's really cool. There's quite a bit of stuff happening there. And the power synth, I can control its volume here. So if I don't want as much of that, or if I want a different sound altogether, I can do that. So what I'm illustrating here is the power of the mxxx is that you can contain multiple M-Sound factories. And so you can do that, I think, within M-Sound Factory as well. But mxxx is more for additional effects processing and building of instruments and systems of instruments, really. So anyways, so for instance, if I wanted a different sound than the whirly and the power synth, I could change that. If I wanted different sounds here, I can change these. And of course, I have the ratio control to dial in how much of these two that I want. And additionally, one more thing is you have to use the word additionally a lot when you're talking about Melda plugins. It really gets tiresome. But anyways, one other thing you can do is have a multi-ratio or multi-input mixer so that you would have more of these sound factories and more of these power synths available. And so you could then dial in the ratio again to affect multiple instruments simultaneously, or in the mixer case, you would have multiple mixer channels, and so you could change the balance between those signals. So in this way, you have something you can kind of morph in and out of or adjust in and out of as your piece progresses. So you don't have to have like, stacks upon stacks of sounds. Instead, you have one master like module that holds a huge amount of sounds, and then you change the ratio amount as you move along in the piece. And so when I'm saying you can keep stacking these instruments, that's essentially, they have tone generation things, but basically your main things within this system are like M Power Synth, which is Power Synth here, and M-Sound Factory. Those are the bread and butter ones, and you got many other options here to choose from. But with those kinds of things, as long as you're using the MIDI input variety of the mxxx, you can create a huge amount of stack sounds. And stacks are really popular right now, but to have them contained like this and adjustable like this is unique.